ay, 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 ay,
Hey there, Blue Rockers. I'm Connie Willis, and welcome to Blue Rock Talk's new series. It's called Crypto Connie, and this special part of the new series is called Bitshares Now. So, yep, I got the name of Crypto Connie now, but I want to learn about cryptocurrencies, and I know a lot of you do too. That's why you are here, and I appreciate that very much. I don't know much about cryptocurrencies. I hope you got to watch the other show, though, the other night when I got to interview Gerald Celente. What an unbelievable guy he is, huh? He's a lot of fun. Hopefully you got to hear me talk to him on Coast to Coast once before. And here he is back now on Blue Rock Talk like he had promised. Now there's a freaking fly in here, and I've already seen in the live chat some jokes about the fly, and I don't think that's ever going to go away. So maybe this is part of the fly's family coming back for revenge. Well, if you've never been here before, I want to welcome you. I know I've invited some special people tonight, and those people known as Steemians, I think is what they're called as well. It's STEEMIT.com, which is a platform that I am learning underneath the cryptocurrency title that I've been looking into all different things. I've learned about something called STEEMIT. We're going to talk about that tonight. It's a way that you can make some money with your post and upvoting people, which is kind of like when you like something. All right, so we're going to learn about that. So I think there's some Steemians that are out there. So thank you guys for coming. Also want to make sure that everybody comments while they're here. You share this show with someone else because we are definitely live. And I hope that when you talk in the live chat, if you want to ask me a question, make sure that you put at Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis on it. Then I think it can highlight and I can see it. However, I don't know if I'm going to see it. I think it's going to probably fly by me, but I'll give it a shot. Alrighty. So let's see, what else did I want to let you know about? I will be on Coast to Coast this Saturday night, so I hope you guys join me in the spirit of Halloween. Yes, tomorrow's my birthday. Thank you so much for all the happy birthdays. I hope that it doesn't keep flashing across the screen with all the updates. It's driving me crazy already, but thank all of you guys very much for doing that. Little Penny Girl is here tonight. She's walking around right now, and hopefully she's already done her little business. And I think that's really kind of everything I wanted to say with a big hello. So let's bring on our special guest that we have tonight. Now, with the cryptocurrency, I'm jumping in with both feet. Now, there's a lot of different things out there to choose from. And I have decided to jump in with something called Bitshares. So I want you guys to learn about something called Bitshares along with me. You can get into it or not. If you want to get into it, I do have a referral link down below. I can't give you advice on any of that kind of stuff, whatever. If anything happens to you, don't come to me. I'm letting you know that now. But there is a referral below. And if you like it enough and you want to get into it, go ahead and go that way. I do get a little piece for doing that. However, if you get into it, you're going to have a referral link, and you can do the same thing with all of your friends. So that's just part of it. It doesn't matter if it's me or somebody else. So don't go giving somebody else the referral fee if you learn about it here, okay? So yeah, I think that's about it. So what I want to do, because I went into Bitshares, I ended up learning about a whole bunch of other things. Something called STOKENS, something called STEEMIT, which we're going to talk about, Hero, and EOS, and we're going to learn all about all of that tonight with the guy that is known as the Godfather of Bitshares, and his name is Stan Larimer. Stan, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for being here. How are you?
Well, very good, and thanks for having me there, Crypto Connie.
I tell you what, this is kind of a scary thing, getting into cryptocurrency. So First off, tell everybody who you are, because once they hear about you, I think they're going to realize why I have also decided to go with somebody like you guys.
Well, I've spent about 40 years in the aerospace industry doing unmanned air, ground, sea, and space vehicles, and taught rocket science at the Air Force Academy and had a perfectly fun career inventing all kinds of systems. Then I thought I'd go retire and do just a little permaculture on a plantation in Southern Virginia in the mountains, except that my son had other ideas. He invented a whole new type of real-time blockchain technology and asked me to come out of retirement to sort of help him run the back office while he went off and invented stuff. And so the past 4 years I've been working in that industry, and so today I build unmanned companies instead of unmanned vehicles.
Yeah, I found that to be interesting. I don't want to talk about one of those things yet because I just can't understand this. I want to get a little further into it before doing that. But okay, so your son is the genius behind everything. And he said, hey, Dad, I need some help. But, I mean, how did he get into it in the first place? I mean, did you help him a little bit?
Oh, when he was 2 years old, I had him sitting in front of a TRS-80 Model 1, pounding on the keyboard. And when he was 14, he was starting to develop little games on an old Mac 2. And then he sort of ran away from me and started advancing at ridiculous paces. And he worked on all kinds of different businesses. He's a serial entrepreneur. But back in about 2010, he got on talking to Satoshi Nakamoto, the guy that invented Bitcoin. And they had some chats about it. At that time, he was just the learner. But today, he is the master, having revolutionized much of the industry with one invention after another every year. We founded the company in 2013. So it's been going on, and he has put together a new project practically every year, and now he's out doing it again.
You got to be proud of him, though, right?
Oh yeah, it's pretty amazing to watch something like that take off. But at this point, he has exceeded his old man in all those kind of categories.
That's good, though. That's good. You don't, what if he wanted to do something totally different, than you ever imagined? But you know what? You have confirmed something that I've always said to people, and I've never had a kid that I know of, that I told people, people would tell me with their kids that they only let their kid have an hour's worth of, time on the internet, where I would say, you know what? Let your kid play on it, learn it, teach it, or let them figure it out while they're younger. And so they may be, some billionaire kid puts together an app at even 7 years of age or something like that. That stuff is possible, and it's happening. I remember like 2 11-year-old kids or 2 12-year-old kids put something together, some sort of app, and somebody wanted to pay them like $3 billion for it. Something ridiculous. And they said no, they wanted to work on it. I thought, dudes, sell it, work on something else. Anyway, so I'm glad to hear that you put it in front of them, and it did make a difference. I think the younger you are, the quicker you can learn things as a sponge, and so it's nice. I think
there's a lot to that. Whether you put them in front of a piano keyboard or a computer keyboard, if you do it at a very young age, you're likely to have a virtuoso emerge from that extra exposure early on. Yeah. But I did take him out and teach him how to play baseball too.
Well, wasn't he good at that?
He was always in a hurry to get back to the computer.
Excellent. Excellent. Don't have to worry about any standing at the flag kind of things, but that's not in baseball yet. Hopefully not. So cryptocurrencies, what is that? Just tell us about cryptocurrency.
Well, cryptocurrency is a type of digital currency, and we're all familiar with digital currencies. We go to our online e-checking account, and we fill out a check and press send, and everything happens behind the scene. We never really touch much cash anymore, and so we're used to having somewhere behind the scene computers keeping track of who's got how much money and transferring from one account to another. So at that level, there's no big difference between the two. The only difference is that in the current systems people are familiar with, there's some bank somewhere that has total control over what the entries are and how much you have, and they can, if they want to, freeze your account or make adjustments to your account or do all sorts of things that you may not like. So people on the cryptocurrency side decided to develop some technology that would take out that middleman function. Let us work peer-to-peer so we can send money to somebody on the other side of the planet without any other middleman. And the way they did that was basically to create an army of robots. They're just computer programs running on computers all over the world, and taught them how to keep track and do accounting and check each other. And they did it in such a way that there's no chance for any humans to compete because robots don't have any ulterior motives in what they do. And they can check each other. If there's a bad robot out there, it's going to get kicked out of the system and or outvoted anyway by the other robots. And so that was the key innovation that Satoshi Nakamoto did back in 2009 or so. And since then, it's just snowballed into more and more applications for that kind of technology. It's not just about coins anymore. We put entire companies under control of those robots. So that's why I say unmanned companies. There's no humans in the companies we build, but the companies can do all kinds of functions. They can be a bank and exchange, a smart coin factory, a social media system, basically anything that a human bank could do. In theory, you could program a robotic company to do. And so now the gold rush is on for people to invent all sorts of new companies and opportunities for people to get in on the blooming industry as it's just happening. And so most of the excitement right now is coming from people who are interested in investing and participating in the growth of that industry. But of course, the normal people.
I'm one of those.
Yeah, the normal people, whatever that means, people who haven't heard of it yet.
Oh.
Probably.
No, the zombies, you mean? Those are the zombies. Right.
Yeah. Well, if you're lucky enough to have listened to this show, then you have some options in terms of how you get involved. But most people may not even know it until suddenly they find they're online and they're dealing with robots instead of humans, and they don't even know that you're using cryptocurrencies. So that's the way most people will probably experience it a few years from now. It'll just be built into the world.
Well, I'm experiencing it brand new myself right now, but the things that I'm asking you about, it's just old hat for you.
Well, 4-year-old hat anyway.
but in the internet world, you know, that's old. That's old. You know.
That's exactly right. We've gone from Model Ts to Starships in the past 7 years, and you know, who knows what we're going to have next. But it's growing rapidly.
Well, one of the things you said is something I want to touch upon, which obviously is something that you guys have done, which to me just blows my mind. And I'm glad that I went the BitShare way, because that way I got to meet you and I got to understand all these other things. Otherwise, all I kept hearing about was Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Okay, now I know there's a bazillion other ones out there, but that's the one I always heard about. And all it was to me was a coin. Now, talking to you, I find out that this cryptocurrency, as you say, can be used in different ways, not just a coin. And you guys absolutely are, you know, putting it into applications. One of those applications, of course, BitShares is one, STEEMIT is another, and I just think it's so cool. So, and I know you got some other ideas. So tell me about. I'm going to be asking you about EOS, BitShares, STEEMIT, STOKENS, Heroes. So you tell me what order is the best way that people can understand and not get lost.
Okay, well, I think it probably would be good to segment it into two halves. The full spectrum of what you can do with coins, okay, because that's what people have heard about the most. And it's right to talk about Bitcoin because it's the great granddaddy of them all. It is like Henry Ford invented the Model T and changed how we travel. So it deserves to be in the history books as a simple coin. But since then, we've found a whole lot of other things we can do too. And so I think I will go for a little while on the spectrum from just the original Bitcoin to Bitshares, which is the ultimate spectrum of what you can do with coins, and then we'll get to the other kind of functions right after that.
All right, well, hang in there, everybody. You're watching Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. This is Crypto Connie's Bitshares. We are with the Godfather of Bitshares, Stan Larimer. More to come. Stay with us. Welcome back to Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. It's Crypto Connie, the new series that I have out, and this one is called Bitshares Now. We are talking to a special guest that I have here, and that guest is the Godfather of Bitcoin, Stan Larimer. Stan, you were about to get into how you were going to share this information with us, the easiest way so that we can all learn.
Yeah, let's go from Bitcoin to Bitshares. And you might ask, why in the world? I understand why you're picking Bitcoin, but the other bookend, Bitshares. Why does Bitshares deserve that honor? Well, those two are number one in different ways. Bitcoin is number one in terms of market cap. It has about $80 billion worth of market cap, so it tends to get people's attention that way. Bitshares is the fastest and most used highest tech system out there, but its market cap is a fraction of what Bitcoin is. You can look at what Bitcoin has done in the past few years, where it went from under $4 to over $4,000 now, growing at a rapid point. So, that's a factor of 1,000 growth in the past few years, and that's not unique. Ethereum has come pretty close to 1,000 times growth, and you can find lots of examples of other coins of different types that have grown by factors of 10 or 100. Bitshares has grown by about a factor of 10 or so in just this year, as an example. So one thing you always want to look out for is when you find a mismatch between performance and market cap. That's your investment opportunity. And while I can't give investment advice either, the thing that's interesting about Bitshares is the fact that it's already number one in a couple categories makes it interesting prospect for people who want to speculate.
What are those categories?
Categories are speed of operation. Bitcoin takes 10 minutes to several days to process a transaction. Whereas Bitshares does it in 3 seconds. Bitcoin is already saturated, so you have to pay extra if you want to get your transaction to occur on time. If you don't pay extra, then you have to wait in line, and it could take quite a while, a day or so sometimes, when the network is busy. So Bitcoin will have a hard time growing to service the world with its technology. It'll have to serve with its limited bandwidth enough special purpose things where people want to transfer a highly valuable coin, but it's not going to be the kind of thing that can process Visa levels of transaction. For example, Visa might do 4,000 transactions a second. Bitcoin can do maybe 3, 7. They worked a whole year to double that. It'll be a long time before Bitcoin can do Visa level transactions, whereas BitShares is already tooling along way past that, up to hundreds of thousands of transactions per second. So just as a tour de force on the technology performance level, you can see the difference between a Model T and a Starship in terms of overall performance. And then there's a lot more things that happen inside BitShares. BitShares has an entire company inside it, and that company is a smart coin factory. That means it can make all kinds of interesting coins, coins that track the U.S. dollar, coins that track the U.S. dollar plus 5% growth, coins that track other gold, silver, the yuan, euro, all kinds of special purposes. Coins that are backed by gold or silver physically, coins that are backed by shares in a company, actual securities that can be traded under the laws of the appropriate countries that are at. So a whole lot of things happen inside BitShares besides over on Bitcoin being just a coin that was the first and therefore most well known. So that can give you kind of a spectrum. And then, of course, as an investor, if you wanted to compare, do I want to buy a Bitcoin or do I want to buy a BitShare? That would be kind of like saying, well, Bitcoin is like your blue chip stock as far as crypto is concerned, right? It's been around for a while. It's still got lots of growth in it, but it's not going to grow probably by another factor of 1,000 real quickly. It's already had its big boom up, and now it's continuing to double at some rate. BitShares still has that kind of growth ahead of it, so it might be thought of as buying one of those unknown internet companies like Google.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I like the way you say that. Exactly. Because that's what kind of got me in, because I know you guys know what you're talking about, and the fact that you're saying that, yeah, I want to do that. I don't think you guys are just throwing it out because you're these losers that are trying to do a get quick kind of thing. I don't think you are that group of people at all. And, because people could throw that around. That's what you want them to throw around, right? I think you guys are way beyond that. And, Bitcoin is up there like really, 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 really high. I mean, it's incredibly high.
Yeah, and, it deserves to be. It was around there at the beginning. It created a whole new religion about decentralization, And so a whole lot of people are passionate Bitcoiners because that's what they cut their teeth on. And, there's a lot of people that when they start to take their company or their business or their individual dealings in, they tend to gravitate towards Bitcoin because it's got the biggest name. The thing that I'd like to share with people is the fact that there's a whole new universe out there of technology beyond what Bitcoin is, and you might be interested in something other than Model T for whatever it is you're doing. If you need something that's got wide mainstream adoption, then obviously Bitcoin is there. It's well known, well recognized, but that will carry it only so far because people are starting to build into point of sale terminals the ability to translate any coin into compatibility for that merchant. Real time trade it for dollars and pay the merchant in dollars or whatever. So name recognition is not going to be as important as it was over the past few years, where merchants had to decide, well, which of 2,000 different currencies am I going to accept? I guess I'll do Bitcoin because it's biggest. Well, that'll be all hidden from the merchants from now on, or as we evolve. And so they'll make other decisions. They won't even care or know when you come up to pay which currency you were paying with. That can all be happening behind the scenes. But meanwhile, there's lots of other stuff happening in the area.
Well, is BitShares a coin, or is BitShares a way to use the coins?
Well, both. The name of the coin, the base coin inside the BitShares network, is called a BitShare, just like a Bitcoin. There's the Bitcoin network, and it's got its base coin. The only coin is Bitcoin. And the BitShares network implements an entire bank and smart coin factory and a digital currency exchange. All of that functionality is in the network, and its base currency, which in some sense is like ownership in that network, just like Bitcoin is like ownership in the Bitcoin network. Those can be used as coins, or they can be used to pay to use the various services that are provided. In the case of Bitcoin, it has one service, which is to transfer ownership of Bitcoins between accounts. In the case of BitShares, it has all the functionality to make coins of different types and to trade them, like trading them on a stock exchange, for example.
So if I buy 200 BitShares, I mean, I don't even know the question to ask because I'm so lost about it. Is it a share or a coin?
Well, I think
so
it's...
if I cash it in or whatever, right? What and what?
Well, this is very important to understand. People use a lot of metaphors to try to explain this new technology, all right? And those metaphors carry with them all kinds of implications in terms of how they're regulated. And we sit and watch different parts of the same government call it different things. The IRS refers to it as a commodity, and the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, is wondering if some of them might not be securities, and if they are, they'd better be licensed. So when you look at what are the tokens, the little things you can pass around on these different networks, you have to look and follow the rules of how various governments classify them based on what they do. And so if it's nothing but something that you can pass around like a coin that people trade and the value goes up due to supply and demand speculation, then that's a coin, that's a commodity, and that's something that's trading as a thing that's uniform and divisible and tradable. As soon as you tie it to something that passes other government tests, like is this an investment in a common enterprise where there's an expectation of return? In other words, making a security, that's called the Howey test in legalese. But that particular test, if a coin does those things, then it better have been registered with the appropriate government agencies where you're trying to trade it, and so on. And that is a place right now where a lot of activity is happening as the industry is moving towards regulation, and it needs to, even though a lot of us passionately with the Bitcoin religion say we don't want government regulation. We've got code regulating it. Those robots are the regulators in these systems. But as we've all seen, there have been just this year quite a few scammers out there selling a coin that promises a share in a common enterprise and expectations of future profits. And when it's nothing but a couple kids in the basement who pocket $100 million worth of coin sales and then go party the rest of their lives with no intention of doing anything. And when you see these horror stories, when you see those, you say, I understand why we need government regulators, right?
Oh, I got you.
The code, the robots are honest, but if the person creates a coin and makes promises outside the network and uses the network to trade those promises, suddenly they're back in the domain where governments have to take a role.
Wow, that's pretty scary. I mean, how do you know?
Well, it's the same thing we've been told all our lives, do your homework. If you're going onto the stock market and the New York Stock Exchange, a lot of people probably do just go on there and say, oh, look, this stock's going up, I'll buy some of that. They never do their homework, they never read the prospectus, they never investigate the company behind the stock, understand who's running it, look at its history, look at its prospects, what are its plans. That's painful stuff nobody really wants to do.
Not at all. Not at all.
And so they treat it like a gambling casino. And that's why the governments tend to have rules on who can participate. It's, in some sense, very unfair when they say, well, you've got to be rich before you can even buy some of these things. But they've evolved towards doing that because so many people get hurt when they start going in and trading these things without the experience or the training to deal with it, and they can hurt themselves as bad as people who abuse any other substance that causes them to get into a bad space in their lives. So right now there's a lot of tension going on between people wanting to have freedom to do what they want, and people wanting to protect them from doing stupid things. I come down on the don't protect me from doing stupid things. I want my freedom. But there are other philosophies out there that say we get too many complaints coming in from people who got hurt and lost all their money. They want the government to do something about it, and so then they go and do something about it. So that's going to be with us in spades in the cryptocurrencies, just like it was in the stock market in the 1920s.
Wow. Well, I think a lot of blue rockers here are going to. By the way, you are also now a blue rocker. You are in the know, and there you go. I love it.
See, I'm trainable.
You are. I love it. I love it. that was a surprise. Thank you. Our blue rockers want their freedom as well, and this is like a financial freedom thing. I've noticed that whenever I talk about cryptocurrencies, that's what I keep hearing is freedom, freedom, freedom. And where we've related it, where you have showed me, and what I've learned here with the Bitshares, is that freedom, it's the financial freedom, first of all, of getting into it and giving it some time and making some really good money, making the right investments and everything. And the other thing of freedom is you have the password only, and no one else can know what you're doing. The other freedom is that if, like my referral link that I have down below in the description box, if someone uses it and becomes a lifetime member, you can be an affiliate member or a lifetime member, and I think there might even be some more memberships. But if you come on and become a lifetime membership underneath me, then there's like a one-time little buyout kind of thing, and they buy their freedom from the referrer. So let's get into the good stuff with the money. What did I learn?
That's quite a riff on freedom there. I'm pleased with what you just said. They are kind of separate topics, so maybe let's talk about traditional freedom, the kind of freedom that the American founders talked about in their Constitution, where we have a set of rights we don't want to be interfered with, and government is constrained from interfering with those rights. And back then, freedom was fought for with muskets, and today one of the ways it's fought for is with digital currencies, because what has evolved in our world, I've told you all the good reasons why government should be involved, but what has also happened is it's become a control mechanism, almost a prison for us in terms of constraining what we can do. If you give the governments of the world the power to protect you from every bad thing that could happen to you, you've given them the power to completely enslave you. And while we all agree and want the government to stop bad things from happening, murders, kidnappings, protecting us from invasion, whatever, it's when they get down to telling us we can't have a big gulp of soda. Okay? And when they tell us that if you buy a big gulp soda, we know about it and can fine you automatically for having done it. Yeah, I mean, we have laws that come and go, right? As different political parties come in, one party puts in one set of laws, next one comes in, throws out those laws and puts the opposite laws in. So there's no moral authority to those kind of laws, right? Those are just people bullying other people.
Yes, bullying.
And so we have to watch out that we don't allow the governments of the world to build us a prison where every single transaction that we ever make is totally logged and can be controlled and automatically fined if they don't like something that we're doing. And so that's what the struggle is right now. We want to have good, solid recourse when people scam people using any technology. But we don't want the government to know so much about our private lives that they can pick and choose who they're going to destroy by selectively enforcing laws with a perfect record of everything we've ever done. So that's our challenge.
Especially money and the Bitshares. I mean, just getting into it myself, I got me an account, and the first thing I find out is, here's your password. A bazillion types of numbers and letters and symbols and things that's like really, 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 really long. And, I got to take that and hide it somewhere else and do something else with it. And I don't know, y'all gave me different, ideas of what to do with it, because you don't want anybody else to get it, but you want to make sure that, you yourself knows how to get it. However, if it's ever lost, that's it. You can't get back into your account, and you guys can't get me back into my account, because that's it. I'm the only one that has the password.
That's right. That's the flip side of freedom, right? Freedom is a two-sided coin. One is you can do anything you want and people can't mess with you. Flip that coin on the other side, nobody can come and bail you out. And personal responsibility comes with this kind of freedom. It always has. And
right.
A lot of people, and by the way, it's fine if you are the type of person who says, look, I'm going to weigh whether I'm worried about governments or banks confiscating my funds unfairly, or somebody hacking in and taking it, versus my own stupidity of losing my password. I'm more worried about my stupidity than I am about something else.
I get it, but you know what? There's just some things that you have to worry about, and that's like the people up in Northern California and Napa, Sonoma area with all the fires. In fact, I was watching last night, and they said, they had to rush out of there, and they said all they had was the clothes on their back, and they lost everything else. So at that point, you might have lost that, no matter where you put it in the house or something like that. And cities were gone, and what if the grid goes down? Then, well, I guess if the grid goes down, it's just the way it is. It's going down for everybody, right?
We got bigger problems if the grid goes down.
This is true.
Yeah, but even if the grid went down, the information is still stored on computers all over the world, and when the grid comes back up, they'll resync up and carry on. So you're not necessarily going to lose your money just from a temporary outage, and if you have a long-term outage, we'll lose half the world's population anyway, and we're probably back to the Stone Age if that happens. So obviously there are things that could be problems, but I will tell you that there's another one of the improvements that the industry is going in. Bitcoin, you have one code with a lot of numbers in. You got to write it down. If you lose it, you're stuck. Bitshares has something called multi-signature control on it. Now, this is really good. When you create an account, you don't just stop there. Okay, you go get your sister or your children to have accounts, and then you have those accounts cross-linked. Okay, so that I can set it up right now so that if I have 3 children, any 2 of them can unlock my account. Okay, and so if I lose my password or it gets burned up something, hopefully they've got a computer in another state with another account, and I can simply call them up and say, I lost the password to my account, but would you go get the money out of the account and put it in my new account for me? So that's really handy for companies and enterprises too, who are worried about hackers, because they can distribute which employees have access to which funds and who has to sign off on spending. So it's not just a case of one rogue employee suddenly going in there and emptying the account, because it's got to get routed past the CFO if it's over a certain amount. And maybe there's 3 employees out of 7 have to sign off. You can set it up any way you want, but that's the way we're going to build in safeguards so that when stupid things happen, and they will happen, there's ways to protect yourself. And so time marches on. The new blockchain technology will continue to evolve and make it easier for people over time.
Excellent. And if I don't have somebody else to pass an account on, can I buy another account if I want? Can I put in or open another account? Can I open 3 or 4 or 5? I can open as many as I want, just a different username kind of thing?
That's exactly right, and you should do that. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. So when you're just learning, okay, have one. But if you start to accumulate any amount of wealth, you're going to want to spread that out into different accounts on different computers. You want to keep those things maybe on a USB stick, Heck, make 5 USB sticks and store them in 5.
I just can't find these stupid sticks around the house. Where the freak are they?
Well, don't put them all in the same house. You can put one under your doormat, I suppose. But you want one out in the garage, and you probably want one at your sister's house, and whatever. But that is people have. I can't tell you how many horror stories I've heard about people who forgot their password, or the dog ate their homework, or whatever the excuse is, because they didn't take the time to make sure they had belt and suspenders in order to make sure that they kept access to their money.
Okay, and that's talking, you can get a separate, more than one BitShare account is what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And you should have several.
So one of the things about BitShares, so that I don't want to keep you all night long, I still want to hit those other ones, but the other things with BitShare is that's very different than the others, is it's this entire platform where you can watch everything as it happens. You can transfer your currency quicker than anybody else. And if I'm wrong, tell me. And also, isn't there something to where it's kind of like a home equity loan?
Oh, yeah, that's a really powerful feature in BitShares. You can take and buy some BitShares, have it in your account, and you can borrow against those BitShares to get any one of a number of different specialty currencies called smart coins. And so let's just take an example. Suppose I have $1,000 worth of BitShares sitting in an account. Then I'm allowed by the system to borrow $500 worth of specialty currencies that I can go spend on anything that I want. Meanwhile, my BitShares still stay in that account, hopefully growing as the system grows, maybe by that factor of 1,000 that we're hoping for. So you can sort of have your cake and eat it too. And that's sort of like what you do with a home equity loan, right? You take your house deed down to the bank, and they put a lien on it that says you can't sell the house, but you still own it, and you can still live in it, but they'll let you borrow up to maybe 80% of the value of that house to go start a business or buy a yacht or whatever you want to do. So that means that while you're enjoying the use of a lot of your money by borrowing against it, it's sitting there, and if you're in a good housing market that's going up, by the time you decide to move someday and sell that house, you got the whole appreciation that has happened on the price of that house in the meantime that belongs to you, while you've been able to use the money that was in the house, the value, some of that value, to go do something else that you wanted to do. BitShares just simply substitutes the house for some of those coins and locks them up for you, and then gives you a coin that you can pass around and spend just like a Bitcoin. Except the coin will have special properties. Like the Hero is one in particular that is sort of our flagship now. It's just something we started, so it doesn't have much liquidity yet. But the way it works is it's defined to grow at 5% annually against the dollar since 1913, when the Federal Reserve started inflating our money. So while the dollar since 1913 has gone down to maybe 2% of what its purchasing power was back then, the Hero, if it had existed back then, would have been worth $1 then, and has grown now to where it's 160 in today's dollars. So that is the type of coin someone might want to hold in place of a 5% certificate of deposit or a 5% savings bond. If you could get those today, you would, but most people retired and don't have a place to get nice little passbook savings. This particular smart coin allows them to buy one of those from somebody who borrowed it against his own BitShares, and that is what gives us a whole new kind of currency backed by the equity of the blockchain.
Well, you are watching Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. I'm Connie Willis. This is Crypto Connie that we are watching now, and that you're joining me on with Stan Larimer, the Godfather of Bitshares. This is BitShare Now, and we will be right back. I want you guys to stick around. We've got more to come, and I'm looking forward to what he's going to talk to us about next, because I'm digging this stuff. So stay where you are. We'll be right back.
ay, 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 ay,
Welcome back, everybody, to Blue Rock Talk's new series called Crypto Connie. And in part of the series, it's Bitshares Now. This is where we get to learn about cryptocurrencies. And Penny wanted to say hello. Is she not? She got a little shower tonight. Does she not look cute as can be? She's not sure what to do. Anyway, you guys haven't seen her yet today, so there's a little Penny girl after her little shower. You ready to go? You ready to go back down? She's never given me that look before. Hold on a second here. There you go. Ready? Oh, there we go. She kept bugging me the whole time. She's scratching me with her claws, and it's just killing me. Oh my gosh. So, those of you that are new, this is cryptocurrency. This is a new playlist. I'm trying to learn about cryptocurrency. Blue Rock Talk is Earth's most interesting conversations, people, places, and things. And this is very interesting, talking about cryptocurrencies and especially BitShares. This is what I've decided to jump into. And by the way, in the description below, you're going to see a referral link. So if you guys also want to check it out and get a membership, there's that fly. And I keep seeing the fly jokes, by the way, in the live chat. It's not very nice. That's an inside Blue Rocker story is what that is. But you'll see a link down below. And if you are interested in the BitShares, please use that link to sign up. You can do an affiliate thing or a lifetime thing. In fact, let's go ahead and ask the Godfather of Bitshares himself, Stan Larimer, right? Larimer or Larry Moore?
Larimer.
Ah. You tell us, like the referral link that I have below, what happens if somebody clicks on that and then they go and they have a chance of lifetime membership, affiliate? What is all the differences of that? How do people use BitShares and join?
Well, one of the things we did with when we created BitShares was to set it up so that 80% of the fees charged to do different services go to the referral system. So, most of those fees are going to encourage growth, and that means that if you refer somebody, then in the simplest case, you get 80% of the fees they pay come to you. Okay. Now the fees are relatively small compared to what they would be on Bitcoin or so on, but they add up over time. And so if you are referring a lot of people and those people are paying a penny here, a penny there to send money or to do a different transaction, it tends to add up. One of the big things you can do is to buy a lifetime membership, which you just did. And that's special because when you do that, you suddenly stop that all those fees come back to you instead of going to the person that referred you. So it's kind of like buying your freedom, right? You're using it as an ordinary user. You're paying tiny fees, but the fees are going to the person who referred you up until the point where you pay, it varies a little bit, but let's say $80 for a lifetime membership. Of course, the person who refers you gets 80% of that $80, but after that, all of your fees come back to you. So you've just basically bought that option from them.
Right, buying freedom. I think that's cool. And just so people will not be afraid, because when I was hearing this at first, I thought usage fees. How much is that? But I think it's like 3 cents or something.
Yeah. If you're not a lifetime member, it's 3 cents to send like a postage stamp. 3 cents. When do we have 3 cent postage? I think before I was born.
Before me, way before me.
Okay, so yeah, you can mail a transaction for 3 cents. But if you're a lifetime member, it's a fraction of a penny because you get 80% of that 3 cents back. So, it's worthwhile if you're going to do a lot of stuff on the system to do that one-time fee. If you're just going to experiment, though, you pay a few 3-cent postage stamps a couple times a month. It's no big deal.
Right. Okay. Well, I also thought, I want people to know the numbers now too, so they won't be afraid either. The lifetime membership, that's not much either. That's where I went, well, I got to do this. I have to do this. It's not that much. When you first hear these things, you think, oh my gosh, it's going to cost me thousands of dollars to get into this. But it's not. The lifetime fee is what, like $80 right now?
Yeah, and then that gives you the right to have people refer you, to be a referral. If you're not a lifetime member, you can't get referral fees. But when you become a lifetime member, then you're sort of part of the system. You're a person who has bought in a little bit to the system, and that gives you the right to have some share of the fees.
So,
and that turns out to be a real easy thing to do when it's just person to person. If you sign up your sister, you ask your sister to do you a favor and put your name down as the person who did the referral. But if you are setting up a website, then when they click on the sign up link, you can have embedded in that link the name of your account, and that way everybody that you send over to the bitshares.org website to sign up, with that click, it tells them that you were the one that referred to, and the system automatically logs that, so that it's pretty painless for everybody. You don't even have to talk about the referral thing. It just happens behind the scenes. Right,
and it's pretty easy. And by the way, you guys don't go bitshares.org. Go down to the referral feed down below. That's why I'm doing all this stuff, right? So check down, and it has the Connie Willis referral. And then again, do the lifetime. It's only $80 right now, I guess, or it varies as the money goes up and down with the BitShares, right?
Yeah, the price is in terms of BitShares. So on any given day, the price of BitShares is varying. And so it's hard to quote in dollars what the price is. It's a fixed number of BitShares, and that could get changed. The BitShares system elects people that serve on a committee that have the power, if they're elected, to adjust the rates. So they essentially vote as a committee on what you should be charged to do different things. And that could vary at any given time, but right now it's about $80, and that's historically relatively cheap compared to, it's been as high as $300 at sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely cheap. And hopefully everything's going to go up, so get it before it goes up. But okay, so all right, so I do this kind of like game. It's kind of a game to do this, and strategies involved. And so let's say that I want to pay off a credit card, or I want to go buy a car. Say I've got that much in there. I mean, can I go to a car place and will they take BitShares, or do I have to liquidate that into dollars? And does that happen like the same day, or how does that work?
Well, you can send BitShares to anybody who agrees to accept it in 3 seconds. If you want to,
that's around the world too, the entire globe, right? 3 seconds.
Yeah, it could go faster if it wasn't for the fact that it's a pretty big blue rock.
This is right.
So we set it to 3 seconds just because we want it to be fair for everybody, and people sending from one side of the planet to the other need a little time for it to trickle around through all the internet and get where it's going. And so that's not a problem. But what you can do, there's a more increasing number of companies that are supporting being able to take it and dump it straight onto a debit card. So you can use BitShares and dump it. For example, there's a company called Remitio, REMITTIO.com, which will allow you to load any debit card, the one that's in your wallet right now. Take it out, type in the number, the debit card number, and you can send any of the top digital currencies, including BitShares, to that debit card. And then when you walk into a store, they don't know, you're just swiping the card, they don't know it came from BitShares or Bitcoin or dollars in your bank account. So a lot of the companies and third parties are adding on things that'll make it a lot easier for people to use it. You can use other services that will allow you to, for example, there's a company called bitstamp.org. It's a London company, and you can go there, send Bitcoin, sell the Bitcoin for dollars, and have them wire the dollars to your bank account. And being Bitcoin, it'll take maybe an hour or maybe 3 hours. Could be 10 minutes, but I've never seen it go that fast in practice. So, but in a relatively short amount of time, you can send it over to Bitstamp. But then the banking system is going to make you wait 3 days to get your money or more, right?
Yeah.
So you get a chance to see it. When we formed our company, we had a Chinese investor send us Bitcoin for his first investment. Excellent. And it took less than an hour for it to get from Shanghai to Virginia, another hour to get to London, and then several days to get back through the banking system.
Excellent. Wow. Yeah, I'm trying to help some people make some deals and investments, and you know what? It's like they say it takes about 30 days before all the banks do this, and this, and it's like, okay, we'll go buy some Bitshares then, Bucko. I've got something for you, right? So eventually, is this going to just kill the banks to where we don't have to do that kind of thing, and I can just buy what I want through the Bitshares?
Well, I would not say that it will kill the banks. They're very powerful and they will survive. But we'd like to move them out of the middle of our lives, out to the periphery, where they can provide services, but we can work with each other and don't need them for everyday business. We can have absolutely frictionless interactions. Think of the friction involved in me wanting to send a payment to somebody, and I have to go through the banks, and they slow it down to several days, and maybe put restrictions on how much you can transfer at a given time. Just everything, the amount of paperwork you have to fill out. They used to be companies that made business go faster around the world. Now they make it go slower. And if we can move to the digital currencies, we can get almost instantaneous interactions. You can program two computers to talk to each other and make a payment, boom, boom, when a certain event happens in the world automatically, and don't have to say "Mother, may I" to the banking system.
Oh my gosh, I love this. Everybody, you're watching Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. This is Crypto Connie, the new series, and this is Bitshares Now with the Godfather of Bitshares, Stan Larimer. I say it right?
You're getting better at it.
All right. Y'all stick around. I'm going to ask him something about how he puts this to use in some other areas. Stay with us. Welcome back to Blue Rock Talk. Connie Willis here. Crypto Connie, Bitshares Now. Stan Larimer, right? Stan Larimer is with us, the Godfather of Bitshares, and we are discussing the Bitshares, and also we're discussing how to put all this into action and actually apply some things and apply this digital currency. And one of the ways, when I started looking into Bitshares, I heard about something called STEEMIT. And STEEMIT is something that, oh my gosh, how did I know? I didn't know this. I just thought it was kind of cool. And it happened to be from the same guy there's that fly again. No fly jokes, no licking the fly jokes. again, a Blue Rocker memory from the past that we don't want to bring up. But STEEMIT is a way to apply this digital currency, and this currency is called STEAM, and it was also put together from your son, correct? From Dan the Man.
That's right. That was his second big project. I'd just like to say, as we leave BitShares, that
yes.
There is a website we put together that makes a game out of learning all about the BitShares system. That's billionherocampaign.com.
Yes, tell me about that. Yes. Tell everybody about that.
And so it would be remiss not to point that out.
Absolutely.
Because what we wanted to do was give people in the mainstream who aren't interested in all the techie stuff about digital currencies, but might want to learn about them because it could be useful to them someday. We made a game of it. You go there to billionherocampaign.com and you can get your first BitShares account, help with setting it up, and some free play money called a free row, which you can then
free row.
and those will be worth something someday because they'll be part of the prize we're giving away. $1 billion is part of that campaign. So you can find out all about how we grow BitShares from $1 million prize today to $1 billion prize, hopefully in just a couple years, and then give it away to 12 good causes. First place is $300 million, and which causes get that prize is something that people who earn free rows get to choose. Just like those free rows count for voting rights on what good causes are going to get the big prize whenever BitShares has grown by a factor of 1,000. So we can't guarantee how long that'll take, but we know that Bitcoin and Ethereum have already joined the million to billion club, and we're determined to be among the next to do that. And when we do, that will be given away. So it's kind of an exciting place to go in, make a game of it, learn how things are doing, and while you're at it, join one of the causes or create your own. You can define a cause. If there's Save the Whales on there and you want to save the trees instead, well, okay, put on a Save the Trees campaign. There's a lot of really exciting things that are coming up on there, all kinds of good causes people have. And it doesn't have to necessarily be what people would call a good cause. It could be, I want to see a new Matrix 4 movie be made, okay, and I'd like to have the money go to fund a new version of that movie. So you can propose anything you want. If you get enough people to vote for it, it can get one of the prizes and you'll see it happen. So that's a way to learn all this stuff. If it sounds intimidating to you, we make it into little baby steps that you can do at a little bit of time. And while you're at it, join a good cause. So that's billionherocampaign.com. Now we can talk about STEEMIT.
No, well, wait a minute. Let's go back to that. So the cause gets $1 billion that's voted.
Yeah.
And then the person behind that gets 300,000.
No, there's if you divide the billion up, first place is 300 million, and then it goes down. 12th place is 10 million, and all those things add up to $1 billion. So it's like in a golf tournament where you split the purse, So we set aside $1 million worth of BitShares back in June, and then we've challenged everybody, hey, go get your networks. If you're a celebrity and you've got a cause that you care about and 4 million fans, then go tell your 4 million fans about the Billion Hero campaign,
Right.
them to come, get some heroes, learn about BitShares, and help adoption of that system, which will cause the value of that to go up to where we can award that prize. And so we're hoping that there will be a growing number of celebrities that attract their network. There's one particular chief that you'll be hearing about probably this week. Will be announcing his project. He represents a lot of indigenous people all over the world, and he's bringing in, are going to encourage all of them to come and win one of those prizes to help improve and better the lives of all those tribes and other indigenous people around the world. So you'll see a lot of different celebrities and leaders coming forward to win a piece of that prize and gain exposure for their projects.
And that's billion, what is it? What's the, where'd they go?
billionherocampaign.com.
Okay. And if you want to get into BitShares, then go to the referral link that I have below in the description, and you guys can get into this told by the Godfather himself. So, Stan, is there anything else with BitShares before we move on to the next?
No, we can go on and talk about STEEMIT, because that's just like a whole new world.
STEEMIT is amazing, okay, as well. And your son is his head just gigantic from a brain? I mean, it's amazing what you guys have put together here. Now, what I've been saying to people is STEEMIT is basically, I mean, I put both feet into there as well. STEEMIT is basically like a Facebook and kind of a YouTube. It's a social media platform. You put in your, you register for it, and the currency there is a Steam, and it's using the currency in an application, and it's on the platform. So what I do is, like, I can take my YouTube stuff, or I can take some of my, blogs from Huffington Post, and I can put them on there and write new blogs and write new, put new videos on there, and I've created memes for the first time in my life, and put those on there, and then people see it, and they follow you, and they can upvote you, and you can actually get paid for your content.
That's how currency enters into circulation. In the Bitcoin universe, it enters into circulation by people solving complex math problems. And it becomes like a lottery for who can solve the problem fastest. When we went over to STEEMIT, we said, why don't we make currency go into circulation from people publishing good content?
Oh, wow. It's so absurd nowadays, because on Facebook and YouTube and so many of the other ones, you put on all this great content for free.
Yeah.
And they take, total advantage of that.
It's so exciting to watch your network grow. When you start out, the first time you publish something, it's kind of lucky if people stumble across it, because you don't have a big following when you first start. But as you keep pumping out the posts, and other people discover it, and then they can do a follow function. They say, oh, cool, I didn't know Connie was on here, I'm going to follow her. Well, as soon as they do that, the system will tell them every time you publish something. So when you get a number of followers up, then those people show up if they like your content, or if they like you. They might not care about your content, but they like you, Connie. So they're going to vote for your.
This is true.
Okay, and so that adds up, and of course they have an incentive too, because people who publish good comments, and the comments get liked, they get a little piece of the stuff too.
Right.
So that encourages people to take the time to not just come by and like it, but to say something about it and curate the content. And then that allows the best stuff to bubble to the top, because you can go and sort by the most recent posts, or the ones that have been most liked or have earned the most. And so a lot of people who are in a hurry will go there and sort by the most liked, or the biggest earners, and they'll find a bunch of stuff. Okay, so if you can get into that category, and people find you in that because you had a really good article one day, now they may not only like you, but follow you, and that means that now more and more people are going to discover what you publish. So you have to sort of start out as a rookie and do things to get noticed.
Yes.
And one way you can get noticed is to go to other posts, and when you comment on things, you can say something relevant about one of your posts, put a link to that post. And now the people who are reading the other content may click over to see what you do. Now, here's a secret, right? If you just show up as a spammer and you say, yeah, nice article, vote for me, come to my site, people are going to downvote you because you didn't add anything, you're just putting spam in.
Yeah, and what he's talking about, this is so amazing to me. You have a reputation, and you know your reputation by your number. If your number's, when you first get in, you have a number of 25. And if you have a good reputation, it gets up higher. But if you have a bad reputation, like he was just saying, it goes lower than 25. So that gives you a quick, outlook on this person immediately. But what is also great about, so I love that. I love the reputation, But what this promotes that the other ones don't, and that I know Blue Rockers out there will love this, is the fact that you guys had this like movement going of rewarding people for good deeds kind of thing, I guess. I don't know. I think that's a good way to put it, because when somebody puts down a post, they put down they post up their content, and if you like it, everybody gets a reward, and it's financial. And then comments and re-steaming and all these, sharing it with others and talking about it, and other people coming in and they like that comment, and and people can even give you tips. I mean, it's all about rewarding. And if someone is going to bully, someone's going to come along and hit that person's reputation and drop it down. So you don't want a bad reputation, so you're not going to bully. I mean, you can still debate and have a good, strong debate, but, an intelligent debate, not this stuff that you see now where you end up losing friends and you don't sleep at night because somebody said something horrible to you. If someone's out there being a bully, well, you just take the votes away, right? Or whatever, you end up getting their little reputation down to like 5, and then nobody wants to talk to you anymore. I love it. It's like they got the dunce cap on them and they're sitting in the corner. I think that's, that's ingenious.
And so you do see a little bit higher level of discourse, a little better behavior, because people do have the ability to sanction. Now, there are a few bad apples that got rich early on, and they're evil, and they do wander around preying on people by downvoting them unnecessarily. So we have a few of those guys. You just got to learn to ignore them. But the overwhelming number of people on there all behave themselves because of this type of thing.
And I love it. And just so people will know out there, you Blue Rockers, I want you to know that for 6 months I've been, just pulling teeth, as you guys know, to get subscribers and to get people to comment and like, because the more views that you get and the more subscribers that you get, the more money you can get with AdSense. And instead of charging membership or anything for any of my sites or anything like that, or my YouTube channel, I'm going with the AdSense way so that people get free content and it builds up. But you don't realize how long it takes to build up. One of those reasons is YouTube decides when it's, I'm on it now, but it decides who sees what, when, and how, they're going to promote it. And it's just awful. Facebook does the same kind of thing. When you have your own page and stuff, you don't know who's going to see it or not, and you work so hard, and that's where they want you to boost it for $5 or $30 or whatever it is that you want to do. But on this one, I think I've been on maybe 6 days. I can't remember. Let's say 7, 8, something like that. But I've with YouTube, I might have made maybe $11, maybe. I don't even know if I made that, because I think they can't even send you a check until you've made over 100. I haven't got a check yet, okay? And I don't even think it's past $20. But that's a lot of AdSense that, it's just not building up. 6 months of hard work. However, just a handful of posts and making little memes and stuff. I'm at like, I don't know, $80 or something like that already on STEEMIT, and you go, holy cow, wait a minute. I mean, the first 2 made $80, and then I got some little ones going along the way. I haven't done that in 6 months on YouTube. Now, I have noticed, so I can ask you, like, I might see where it looks like I made $40, and then the next day I look at it and it's 38. Is that the shares going up, or is that somebody going, I don't want you to make it?
It could be somebody flagging you, which would chew away, depending on how much power they have. But it's more likely that the system at any given day breaks up the purse, if you would, for the day into who got votes. So somebody else somewhere during that day scored higher than you and got a bigger percentage, which knocks everybody else's percentage down. So you can see early on, if you publish early in a cycle, you may start out with a lot because there's no competition. And then through the day, other good posts show up and they throw it away. So it isn't permanent until it's paid out to you, which I think right now it might be
7 days.
Days, yeah.
Yeah.
In order to do that. And so, don't get too excited, but it could go up too, because the two things are happening. You're getting more competition, but more people are seeing and voting for you. So, it's a race to see what your actual number will do. And that's part of the game, right? I mean, I can't tell you how much I enjoy. I do a post, and then I go back several times a day to see, who commented on my post, who voted, how much is it scored. It's the kind of thing that varies as you get more followers and so on, what you can earn. I think average for me with my number of followers, which is only about 3,000 or something, but that's enough to score something in a roughly $100 range for a post. The highest I've ever earned for a post, I think, was $1,400.
That's not bad. Some people have made, like, what was the highest post somebody made?
Oh, boy, I don't remember it offhand, but it was obscenely big, like tens of thousands of dollars.
Right. I think I heard 45,000. I may be wrong. But some people have made 5,000, 4,000, 2,000. These are legit numbers. It's not the norm, but it happens, and it could happen. It could just, it's like something going viral and everybody liking it. And it could be not just from your post, but it could be from the comments below, correct? Where maybe somebody gets into a battle or something like that.
Well, the more interaction you cause happen, you do something controversial and everybody's just in there posting all kinds of stuff about it. And that you provided a service to the STEEMIT system by providing content that people got engaged with, and so it wants to reward you for that.
And that's what I love about it, where you can go on Facebook and you can, it's all about posting and talking and communicating, and people they'll have these long threads, and if they had that on STEEMIT, they would be making some dough. And if just like with YouTube, I do my best to comment to everybody as often as possible. I go back, I take a day sometimes. I get overwhelmed with having to answer everybody, but I like it, and I know that that's what helps build it. I enjoy it. I want to know what my Blue Rockers out there want, so I'm definitely doing that. But it's great when you do it, here on the STEEMIT, and then you get Steam Power or Steam Currency. Now, by the way, if you want to join that, I mean, it's free to join, and you already start out with Steam, or you start building Steam, so you never have to buy Steam. Steam is a currency that you can use in the bitshares.org into real money, but you don't, if you get into STEEMIT, you don't have to buy a currency. You can just start earning it with the content. But I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, I think you can actually just join and kind of maybe, because your money can sit there, you can put your money and let it sit there and just kind of grow on its own or something, or sit there and be safe without ever putting content in at all. Is that right?
Yeah, there's several different ways that you can.
The strategy.
About 3 different currencies. One is pegged to the dollar, and it kind of tracks the value of the dollar and doesn't go up or down. It's always the same. And that's a pretty safe place to park it. And then you can power it up into Steam Power, which is where I keep all mine. Steam Power is what gives you voting rights, and therefore, there's no shame voting for your own content. So if you'd like to boost, your reputation as a business proposition for your company, you could buy up a lot of Steam, power it up to Steam Power. When it sits there, you're protected from inflation, and you got voting power with it. So as a business proposition, it's like paying for advertisements. I'm going to, maybe put in $10,000 worth of Steam Power, and suddenly, I can get a little more attention. And there's a mechanism in there where you can actually pay a little money on a post to cause it to rank higher. So there's all kinds of capitalistic stuff that goes on in there that people can experiment with. And then the ordinary Steam stuff is what you power down to and go off and sell, like on Bitshares or various other places where you can convert it into dollars on different exchanges.
Amazing.
That's when you're going to exit. When you power up, there's a time delay on how fast you can power down. That helps to produce stability in the price because nobody can flash dump it. And so people who have things powered up have to tell the system in advance. I forget what the exact period of time is, but it might be 30 or 90 days before it all becomes liquid where you can take it out. But that's the trade-off. You've got these three currencies you can move between, and they each have different rules that you may prefer one mix or another mix.
I love it. I really like it. I like the fact that you're rewarded for content financially, and that you're rewarded for being kind, and you have a good reputation, and you can have these powers. And I like when you re-steam me because I get like $1.18 or something, where other people's 0.01. So it's like, Stan, go re-steam me, or go up me.
I'm not a whale. I'm just one notch above a minnow, but. That's what we have. We're all
that's
sorted out.
That's a whole other ranking, yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole ranking of different size fish, and
it's fun.
Few whales floating around there can make a big difference. If a whale likes something you've done, then you sort of like win the lottery when they click on you.
It's awesome. So I encourage you Blue Rockers to join me as well at STEEMIT.com and have fun posting, making some money posting, and upvoting people. I think you're going to like it. It's a very simple platform. It's not as colorful and as beautiful as what you're looking for, but it's still fairly new, I guess, and in the world of the internet world. And I think, it seems that everybody's kind of adding on because it's the blockchain and you can add on, and they got all these other add-ons that happen, and it's just at its birth, at its infancy. And so be at the infancy of this as well. And I think you guys are going to like it, especially when you start seeing some currency. You don't care that there's not all that color, because part of that color that you're seeing on these other platforms are ads that they're making the money themselves. This is, where you're making the money, and it is addictive. In fact, I'm kind of slow on my other platforms because, just like you said, Stan, I keep going back to see, how much did I make? How much did I make? Where's it at now? Oh, I got a comment. Oh, somebody voted for me twice. Ooh, that guy has a big reputation. It's just a lot of fun, and people have been very, very helpful. You actually introduce yourself the first time that you come on, and everybody kind of welcomes you and gives you advice, or you do get those people, that say, oh, follow me, and you're like, who is this guy? You've got a 5 rating. Forget it. Your reputation's weak. But that is STEEMIT.com, so you guys check it out. And you'll find me on there under Blue Rock Talk, so follow me. It's free. Don't think somebody's pushing you into buying anything. It's free, and I think you're going to like it. Okay, so before Stan goes to bed, we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about a couple more things. Let's see. We will talk about the EOS and STOKENS and anything else he wants to before we go. So you guys, Blue Rockers, stick around. Connie Willis here saying, please don't go away. We've got a little bit more to talk about, and then I'll let you go for the night. Crypto Connie, BITSHARES Now with Stan Larimer. Yay, we got it. Hey, 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 you like that? I can't sing it, but I kind of like that music, so I went with it. I hope you guys did too. It's Crypto Connie here tonight, and it's Bitshares Now. This is Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis, and yeah, officially kind of some Crypto Connie going on. And I've seen a little bit on the live chat. What does this librarian thing, take off the glasses? What are y'all talking about? Still jokes about the fly, too. I'm glad you guys are hanging in there with us. I know we had some technical difficulties at the beginning, but here we are. We're still hanging in there, doing a great job for you. And good old Stan is hanging in there with us, the Godfather of Bitshares. I really appreciate that you are very much hanging in there with us. And hanging in for my technical difficulties. But you know what? You're either a content giver or you are an engineer, and sometimes you got to do it all when you do your own channel. But you're gonna have to hook me up with some of your big computer guys that might be able to help me out and engineer some things for me along the way. But it's been great meeting you along the way here, and I know I can't believe all the things that are going on. I feel like I'm at the cutting edge of stuff. And when I talk to you about this stuff, again, what I talk to you about is old hat to you. And you're still marketing and talk about things like that. However, that's kind of old hat. You already have all these other things that are, in the works that are going to be coming out in the future that we have no idea about. That you've known for quite a bit.
Well, yeah, Dan's had a vision. He's not going to be done with his current project, EOS, yet either, because when that's done, he's going to re-engineer how we govern ourselves. Okay, so it's not. Yeah, he's been talking about this long vision for years about using blockchain technology to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. He starts out with a little coin, moves up to an entire coin factory and an exchange and a social media type system. Along the way, spun off another project that we haven't talked about called Peer Plays, which is for interactive real-time gaming.
Oh.
It's built on the same technology as well. There's another one called...
Oh my gosh, 12-year-olds are going to be billionaires. Oh my gosh, or 6-year-olds. Come on.
Yeah,
right.
these guys who took that technology and started building it into games make a whole new thing. And of course, it makes a big difference. To have a real-time thing when you're playing the game, right?
Yes.
You're out there waving your sword around in battle, and you need to buy more ammo, or whatever the game calls you to do. 3 seconds later, you've done the transaction. In Bitcoin, it would be an hour later. It just won't work for real-time events. Virtual reality games is another big thing that we'll be doing at BillionHeroCampaign.com. Where you're interacting and spending coin in a virtual world that's overlapped on top of the real world, like a Pokemon type situation where you can spend money inside the game. So there's that. There's things for voting that have gone on, and right now he's doing what I would describe as the Windows or Mac OS or Linux level. Is
that the EOS?
That's the EOS, yeah. Okay. So if you think of Mac OS and EOS, I'm not sure what the E stands for, but the OS probably has something to do with the operating system. But it's an operating system that provides all the services for you so you can build other applications on top of it. So when he finishes that, we'll take things like Bitshares and plug it on top of it and suddenly get infinite scalability. That means that they can grow to handle all the load of the world. So while Bitcoin may be doing 3 or 7 or 14 transactions for the whole world to share, these live games with everybody playing them are going to need millions of transactions per second.
So that helps me in my Bitshares now that I'm on the bottom floor. That's going to just blow it up.
Yeah.
My money that's in my current account at that point.
Bitshares right now is able to handle all the transactions that take place in the digital currency world combined if they were moved onto the Bitshares platform. Once Bitshares platform is moved on top of EOS, it'll handle all the world's transaction with growth forever. So, Dan will then start building on other pieces of his vision that has to do with governance and how we make contracts with each other so that we don't necessarily have to be governed entirely by the country we lived in. We can choose the set of laws that are going to affect how we work. A lot of really good
Wow.
things, and your reputation fits into it too, because you say your reputation is, I agree to abide by such and such a set of laws that have been worked out by libertarians who don't want much government interference. And if that's the type of laws I'm signed up for, and you come along and say, well, I want to do business with you, but I don't believe in that. I believe in government micromanagement and everything. Well, then you don't agree to do business with me, because I don't agree to those detailed micromanagement rules. But if you agree with me and we have a common set of laws that will govern how we work together, then great. We can do a contract and have it enforced, not by the courts, but on the blockchain with those honest little robots that are making sure that whatever laws we chose to govern how we're going to do business.
So what are some of those laws?
Well, the law could be how escrow is done, how things get paid. I mean, there's an infinite number of rules that somebody may have. We see this happening already right now. If I do a contract with somebody in California, we may argue about whether the contract's going to be governed by the rules of California or the rules of Virginia.
Right.
Sometimes we say, well, to be neutral, we'll do rules of Wyoming, and so it's that concept.
Right.
Only over time additional rule sets can be devised, and then people can do contracts that are governed by those rules.
So I wonder what Dan. This is Stan's son, Dan, the genius behind all these things that he's talking about. And you're the genius behind Dan, because he was the sparkle in your eye at one point, as people say. But he, as a child, did he have this God complex, or I'm going to recreate the world, Dad? I mean, what? It's amazing that as they're talking, it's almost like he's rewriting the commandments of how we, live. And but he seems to be doing it in the hero way, in a way for freedom, and a way for us to, be our own selves in a rewarding, positive way.
He's a self-taught Austrian economist and passionately believes in that economic theory, and set out 8 years ago to use his computer skills to try to automate that. And he was trying to invent Bitcoin at the time he discovered Bitcoin, and said, "Oh, this is cool." And of course, engineers love to change things, so we immediately went to work on how can I make it better. And after a few years, he got enough thinking done that he could actually make a contribution, and now he's one of probably the top 10 leaders in the industry in terms of thinking up new stuff, and so it's been pretty exciting to watch him grow through those processes. But no, he did not have a God complex or a desire to rule the world.
I don't mean in a negative way either.
Right.
Though.
Quite the opposite. He wants to prevent other people from ruling him.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's right.
And so he's working for freedom and a whole new way of doing business that, if successful, will help our relationship so much. If I can have a business relationship with you, and I have the banking system in between, and I say the check's in the mail, and you tell me 5 days later, where's my money? That's going to be a little bit of tension between you and me, and you don't know whether I'm just saying the dog ate my homework or whether the check's really in the mail or whatever.
Exactly.
But with this system, I sit down, Connie, I said I'd buy you a snow cone. Think, 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 boom. And you say, boom, yeah, there you just BitShares, I can buy my snow cone right now. So it allows us to have more honest relationship without a middleman. And so for those of us who don't get into the detailed economics and techie gobbledygook, we can all understand the idea that if we have more freedom and the ability to have honest relationships peer-to-peer without a middleman, that the world's going to be a better place.
I'm just absolutely amazed. There's something else that you told me about, and I don't know if it was off the record or not. So let me throw it out and you say if it's okay to talk about it and how you can incorporate that, because It's something that I think is extremely interesting, and that's Earth's most interesting conversation. That's what Blue Rock Talk's all about. You were in the state of Kentucky recently looking at some agriculture and trying to see how you can use the digital currency for that. Can you talk about that?
Well, I can't talk about any specific company's activities, but certainly there's the whole industry that's been emerging having to do with growing hemp for all types of legitimate reasons, and of course there's people wanting to see that expanded to maybe not so legitimate reasons, but they certainly do have a problem because they're caught between a rock and a hard spot with their state laws versus federal law, and sometimes that impacts their ability to do economic transactions because a lot of banks don't want to touch their kind of money. And so that type of work can be done on any of the digital currencies that don't have that type of middleman in between. But don't think that that means you can get away with illegal activity, because digital currencies are an open book, and the transactions that are occurring had better be legal because they can be traced, and so I would not recommend anybody use it for something that's illegal. But if you are being unfairly impeded in doing legal transactions by middlemen who have a different set of rules than you, then this provides you with other options. And we're willing to talk to people and tell them what can be done with the currencies. But I need to state something very clearly here: is I don't own or control BitShares or Bitcoin or STEEMIT. Those things are sovereign software companies. They're put out into the world. Anybody that wants to download the software and start running it becomes a user of that company and makes the company run. If I were to want to make a change to any of those things, I couldn't do it unilaterally. I might say my opinion. If you put a gun to my head and say, Stan, tell them to shut down BitShares, I would laugh at you, and then I would go do it because you got a gun to my head, and then everybody would laugh at me for saying that because I have no power to shut it down. Right. It's people out there all over the world that are running the computers that run the software, that the robots, influence robots, that are doing those things. So that was designed that way, clear back from the beginning of Bitcoin, to prevent any government in the world from doing tyrannical things to impede people's free association and interaction. But along with that comes a ledger that does document very clearly what transactions have happened out there. So I strongly recommend that you keep it legal in your own jurisdiction. And that brings us to probably STOKENS.
Yeah, STOKENS. First of all, I love all the names that, STEEMIT and Bitshares and but EOS. Those are but STOKENS, man, that's cool. What are STOKENS? You got me stoked.
Well, that's a company called STOKENS.com. You can go read everything about them there. But they're a company that passionately believes that people should not be taking digital currencies into some Caribbean island or Switzerland or some out of the way country and try to be living in the gray area. That cryptocurrencies need to be out in the open, and if you're going to create something as a digital currency that represents shares in a company, that's a security, and a token is a security token, and their motto is be a security. Okay, don't hide and pretend you're not one. If you really are a investment that is a share in a common enterprise with expectation of profit, guess what? For 100 years, that's been defined as a security, and it doesn't become not a security because it is on the blockchain as a digital currency. And that was proven back Howie in the Hills. There was a big orange tree farm, and somebody divided up the land into rows of orange trees and sold off the rows of orange trees to people, and then offered to manage the trees and give them their share of the profits from whatever grew on their row. And they sold those off without getting licenses. to do it. And the Supreme Court decided that no, that row of orange trees is a security. It's just another form of stock certificate, like a piece of paper that represents your investment in a common enterprise. Someone's watching over all the trees, and expectation of profit and gain from owning that. And they said, nope, that's a security. And so nowadays, a lot of people are out there selling initial coin offerings, ICOs, where you can do ICOs for things that are just certain types of coins. But if it's going to be a row of orange tree type of coin that represents shares in some company, and an awful lot of them are doing that. They're selling coins to raise money to build some new thing that people will hope to profit from. Well, guess what? That is an unlicensed security, and you can tell it to the judge all day that it's not. But if you did it, you're going to be in trouble with very serious and stringent laws against that sort of thing. So out there in the world right now are a lot of coins that are what STOKENS people call dirty coins. They can be cleaned up by going back and going through some things that they will tell you how to do to get right with the law. And they're recommending that anybody that got bad advice from their lawyers and went off and did that, hurry up and clean it up, and they'll show them how. And then, hopefully you won't be in as much trouble as if you let it continue to go. And anybody who sold shares in a company that way as an ICO from their parents' basement and are out partying with that money right now are going to be in real trouble, because that's fraud on top of everything else. That's our industry right now. It's the Wild West. There's really good quality security tokens being offered through STOKENS.com, and there's Wild West garbage. And it's up to the individual who's going out to invest to look into the background of every coin they invest in. It's very much let the buyer beware right now. But there's a new organization called the Token Exchange Self-Regulating Body, txsrb.org, which is trying to work out with the various governments of the world the proper way to govern and regulate digital currencies so that consumers are protected and so is freedom. And that's once again where we're butting heads. We want freedom and we want protection from scams. How do we deal with that?
Right. And your son is on the front line of all that, doing his best to deal with it.
Yeah, he's got an agenda, and he is just a serial inventor, and he's loving it right now because in his new environment, he's got other people around him who are managing all the details of marketing and everything, and he can just invent, and that's when he's happiest.
That's the best. I can't imagine what's coming up next. I just can't imagine, but I want you to save that because we'll definitely talk to you again. Tonight I wanted to kind of hit on all sorts of things so people get a good idea. And then from here, we can talk to you more about things a little bit more in depth if need be. I know you have other people around you that can also talk with me. I've already talked to them, and they can go into depths about some other things, so I'm going to be doing that. How to get into these things, what to do once you're in there, into your accounts with BitShare, and how to do like the password strategy that you had and things like that. So I think that'll be a lot of fun to do different things like that. So we will keep up with the Crypto Connie and have a good time with that. So is there anything else before we go that you want to shoot out while you're here on, Blue Rock Talk? Come on.
Oh, I just, wanted to do that and dare you to be able to do that. And then that, this is something most of my grandchildren can't do, but their grandfather can.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what was that? Yeah, ding.
Yeah, live long and prosper.
Yeah, but Blue Rock is the other way. You got to show the back of the hand, right? That's the Blue Rocker. That's Spock. Yeah.
I guess the only thing I would say that, the mysteries of the universe don't end with UFOs and Bigfoot. They go clear deep into the banking system, and so when we have these interesting talks, so is part of it all.
I appreciate so much you being a part of this. I really thank you very much. And you guys, this is Stan Larimer. I say it
Oh,
again? That's good.
perfect.
Oh,
You got it mastered.
why is that so hard for me? I don't know. Well, Stan, will you hang in there for a minute for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, hang in there. Everybody, I want to say thank you to Stan once again. I appreciate that. And I appreciate all you guys sticking around too. Nice long night, a lot of great conversation. I didn't get to look at the questions. There's a fly. I didn't get to look at your questions or anything because there's just so much to talk about with Stan. I know we're both exhausted. You guys are probably exhausted too. Thank you for sticking around for the technical difficulties at the beginning, and you won't even see those when these things air later. Hopefully. But hey, listen, if you want to go ahead and sign up for BitShares from just what you heard tonight, great. Go down to the referral fee that's down below my subscription and use that, because, yep, if you go for a lifetime member, I get a little pop of that. But you know what? As soon as you do it and get somebody else, it's the same thing. It's just the way it is. It's not me special. It's the way it works for everybody. But you know what you're supposed to do. If somebody helps you out, that's what you do, right? So I would appreciate if you do that. I can't give you any opinions or ideas or tell you what to do. So, but I hope that you notice that the referrals down there. And more information, I'm going to have to add some more of those links from the things that Stan spoke about, and I will do that a little later on. You'll see that either later tonight or in the morning. Yes, it is officially my birthday. Thank you for the happy birthdays. I really appreciate that. At one point you wish they weren't around, right? But then I guess it is better than the alternative. I will be on Coast to Coast on Saturday night, so I hope that you guys get to tune in. Should be a good show. And listen, we're going to be talking to Stan more in the future. We're going to be talking to some of his other people that work around him, and so we're going to learn a whole lot more with Bitshares Now, and also with Crypto Connie that will bring in the STEEMITs and the other things too. So I hope you guys enjoy the night. Please comment. Please like. If you liked it, and comment and share this with other people. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Be a part of the Crypto Connie playlist and also be a part of Blue Rock Talk. Join me as a Blue Rocker. It's Earth's most interesting conversations, and a Blue Rocker is somebody in the know. So I hope you guys have a good night, and thank you for being a part of the show. I appreciate that you all were here, and we will talk soon, I'm sure.
Hey, 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 hey.